Bruh, I need you to go away for a second. Okay. Welcome back to Life and Grandeur. My name is Shayla Monique. If you've never seen me before, welcome. I started working a 9 to 5 in October, and so getting used to, again, a 40-hour work week schedule and the gym and mom life and filming, I'm getting it together. So I would love to be able to do more than once a month, but I don't make any promises at this point about whether or not that's actually going to happen. I'm just coming back from spending a weekend momming very hard. I chaperoned my daughter's overnight theater festival field trip with our group of 30 plus teenagers. And I'm tired. I'm tired. I mommed very hard. Spending that time with my daughter was really great, and it brought me to something that I wanted to talk about, and it is being able to learn lessons from your kids. So as you guys know, as I said, I have been a single mom for most of my daughter's life, so there isn't very much that I have not been present for. Her friends come to our house more often than not to spend the night. Well, actually now that she's a little older, because she's in high school, I do let her go to other people's houses to spend the night. But when she was younger, they came to me because I knew that my house was safe and nothing was going to happen to anybody while they were in my care, if you know what I mean. So I also am a bit younger than a lot of the parents have been in most of her school life. So being the younger parent, I guess, has made me the cool mom.
So not like a regular mom, I'm a cool mom.
I guess so. I don't know. Even this weekend, I can't tell you how many I heard over this weekend with these kids. But I don't have a problem with it. Like, I enjoy that they're comfortable enough to be themselves around me, and that's cool. So spending this much time with my daughter this weekend was a little different because I was overnight, 2 12-hour days with all these other kids, seeing how they interact with other kids and how they operate kind of in their space. It gave me so many points of insight about my daughter, first of all, the people she's around, and also the kind of person that she is when I'm there but not there as well. So one of the things that I really enjoyed about chaperoning this particular trip, my daughter is into musical theater, and this was a theater festival. I think like 50 other high schools were there. I'm not really sure. First of all, this campus was humongous. It was like a college campus. I have never seen a theater in a high school so large, but I heard that it used to be a church, so it makes a lot of sense. It was humongous. And to see all of these high school kids who love theater, and if you know, the drama kids are not necessarily always the kids that fit into the popular groups or whatever you want to call it. Every high school has their little cliques and groups. We all know, if we've been to high school, we all know what that's like. And so to see them in their element, sir, intermission for the cat. Hold, please. This is not time for you to be right. Okay. Seeing these kids in their element and with their peers was an experience that I really enjoyed, and I feel actually very privileged to have been able to be there. One of the things that it reminded me is just how awesome it is to find something that you really love doing. And I'm pretty sure that not all of these kids will go into musical theater as a degree and their field of study when they go to college. They may not all end up being career actors, but to be able to find something that they love doing and help that shape who they become, it's something that really reminded me to also not forget about the things that I love to do. I grew up I started out doing a lot of different things. I've always been very creative. I did gymnastics, I did karate, I did theater, I was on the dance team in high school. I did a lot of different things. A lot of them were performing arts, but it wasn't always the same focus. And I found something that I loved in every single one of those places. And a lot of the things that I did when I was younger haven't always fit into my schedule or my lifestyle as an adult. And so it reminded me to just make time to do those things again, even if it's just maybe I take an acting class, maybe I take an improv class, maybe I just, start doing silly TikToks with my daughter, whatever it is, just to kind of feed that interest once again. Another thing that I thought was really amazing was to watch these kids really support one another. There were a lot of different plays that they brought to the main stage. They had workshops. All these kids from different areas having the opportunity to cheer each other on. I witnessed a couple of conversations where these kids were coming up to each other asking, hey, what school do you go to? What was your fall production? Are you applying to any art schools? Did you get in? Them celebrating, hearing that some of them got into their ideal schools, what they want to do moving forward, whether they're pursuing Broadway or whether they're ending their musical theater career here and they're going on to, business school or something like that. It was just really awesome to see everybody had their thing and it was supported. And I think as adults, we don't always do the best at supporting our friends or our peers in their particular field. Most of my friends operate in some kind of way in the entertainment industry, but I'm just as happy for my friend who books a movie, or my friend who is going abroad to teach a yoga class, as I am for my friend who gets a promotion at her 9 to 5 desk job, or my friend who is being able to go back to school because her new job has tuition reimbursement and she wants to get another degree. All of those things are things that I try my best to support and applaud, but I know how difficult it is for us to see the value sometimes in something we don't necessarily operate in. And so I found that to be just kind of a point of reference for me to take note and make sure that I'm doing my best to support all my people in their endeavors, even if it's not something that I understand. Hey girl, you're a phlebotomist and you, I don't know, found an easier way to get into that vein. I love that for you. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to stick nobody with a needle, but I'm happy that you're doing this. And I think another thing that also was fun about being around that many teenagers, because it was a lot, I'm not gonna lie, being around that many kids, it was a lot. There's a lot of energies, there's a lot of different levels of politeness or lack thereof, a lot of smells with teenagers. Wow, a lot of smells. But one of the things I thought was really cute was there were a couple of times where we had lunch break and they were like racing each other, or they were playing tag, or we were in this big stadium and they were from the bottom up to the balcony, they were doing rock paper scissors, or there was shadow boxing between the levels. Just how they found the time to still play around. And I know that something happens in our adult brains where we feel like we can't play anymore, and that playfulness in life is so important for me to keep. I love hanging out with my kid because I get the opportunity to play around sometimes. I love being with my siblings who are younger because sometimes they're just kids and it's not that serious. And I think sometimes we have to get back to that as an adult, to not take everything so dang serious. Sometimes you can have fun. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal. You can look cringy doing something if you've never done it before. You can play around. You can do a silly voice. You can have a character that I like. It's okay to do that. Maybe you're not going to do it all the time. You're not going to do it at work, but everywhere is not work. Everywhere is not work. Everywhere is not so serious. And I also loved that they were willing to try different things. As adults, we pigeonhole ourselves a lot into a certain thing. And I know that's one thing that I've always kind of struggled with. I do a lot of different things. And so I don't struggle with the idea that I am pigeonholing myself. I struggle against the communication from other people that's telling me I should buckle down and figure out one thing. And that really started very early for me. I remember graduating high school and I wanted to pursue my career in dance. That was all I wanted to do. I actually wanted to take a gap year and just audition and dance and focus on that. And my dad was like, that's not a real career choice. So you ain't gonna make no money dancing. Like, you can't do that. And I wanted to be able to have the experience of knowing not only if I could do it, but to see what life would be like if I went in that direction, and then go back to school if I wanted to get my degree in business or whatever. But his focus for me was, yeah, you need to get a business degree or something that you can utilize in the real world. And to be honest, I really didn't do much. I've gone to 4 different colleges and I don't have a college degree. Probably could have a college degree if I combined all my credits. I've just never done it because I found that I just didn't care for certain classes. Like, I'm extremely smart. I got good grades in all the classes. I don't want to sit here and take a prerequisite course that I'm not going to use when I know that what I'm going to be doing on the other side has nothing to do with this. So, yes, I've taken political science classes and I've taken psychology classes and I've taken small business management and international business courses, and I know how to utilize all of those things in my day-to-day life, but I didn't want a degree in psychology. I didn't need my business degree in order to run my business. I didn't need to go through economy classes and get a degree in economy to be able to run my business. And so I've honestly made more money as an esthetician, doing makeup, washing faces, popping pimples. And that was a 9-month course that I took at a trade school after I turned 30. So I don't know where I was going with that, other than the fact that I'm not telling you not to go to college. I think that everybody should get some sort of higher education. Don't stop at high school. You need to figure out what it is that you want to do and what you want to do on the opposite side of getting a degree, and then kind of like backtrack. I want to do this job. This job requires me to have this kind of credential or license or degree, and I want to do that at this school in this area with these type of people and this environment. And like I said, like, backtrack from whatever the goal is. That's how I kind of came to the decision for me after I went to a bunch of colleges and I kept taking breaks, partially because I had my daughter and I couldn't be in school all day. I needed to work. But also I was just like, I don't want to have a degree I'm not going to do anything with. I don't want to go into debt to have a degree I'm not going to do anything with. Let me figure out what's going to make the most sense for what I need to do. I was already doing makeup professionally, and then it was like, oh, well, in the state of California, you need to be a licensed esthetician to legally be providing makeup services. I'm also interested in skincare. It makes sense for me to do this. I also really love science. And so I'm going to learn about anatomy. I'm going to learn about chemistry. And I already know those 2 things. Honestly, I'm going to learn about the histology of the skin and the physiology of the skin. And I'm going to be able to wrap all of that up into my job. Yes, I need to go back to school to get a license to do that because that makes sense for the way that I want to live my life. And on the off days, I can go hit a dance class. Maybe I'll take a booking. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But I don't have to just do this one thing and have this one career. And I know for sure that, especially with Generation Z, their minds are wrapped around multiple careers, multiple streams of income, different ways to find success that are not just graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, get a job in that field, work that job forever, retire. It's not that linear thought that I think we as millennials were taught to have. So I just found it very interesting while I was with them to kind of be in their world and learn a little bit more about the way that they think about things and how they're doing them. But also, it happened to be in the midst of me coming off of this breakup. Now, this is going to sound really dramatic, but I have been in the process of this gnarly breakup. Now, we've talked about the divorce process and how that has been for me over the last couple of years. This this breakup was a little different. This breakup has been with this right here. This right here. Me breaking up with my phone has been so difficult. Here's what I mean. Obviously, I need to use my phone. I'm not saying I'm not using it. However, I use my phone for a lot of things. All of us do, but I am very overly attached to this here cellular device, and I gotta break up with it. Not my entire phone, obviously. I already am a D&D warrior. If I don't want to talk to y'all, I will not. My screen time has been a little high. My scroll time has been even more high. And have been trying to reel it in. And this has been something I've been trying to do for years, but I realized that part of the reason why I spent so much time on my phone is because I wasn't doing things that I really love to do in my real life. And so now that I've spent some time away from my phone, I started this year kind of off socials, specifically Instagram. I scroll through IG a lot. Oh my gosh. Before I got this job that I currently have, my job with real estate, I have a lot of downtime. And so because I had so much downtime, I multitask. I'm scrolling through my phone. I may be watching something on a streaming service. And also, I'm doing whatever I need to do at the office. Because of the pandemic and the way that changed office culture, a lot of the people that work in my office work remote. So a lot of the times, I was in there by myself. I'm also home by myself quite a bit if my daughter is at school and I'm not at work that day, or she's at a friend's house, or she's with her dad. So I realized that all the time that I was spending just alone, I was filling with looking at what everybody else was doing. I really started at the top of this year, kind of like a social media fast, but really being intentional with pulling off of Instagram. Not so much TikTok, because I don't really use TikTok like crazy. Facebook, I really only check for family conversations, things like that, and my IG stories post in both places, so I don't really have to do much to manage my presence, if you will, over there. But I do sometimes also get clients from some mom groups and some other community groups that I'm in. People are asking about appointments for facials and brows and things like that. So I check those messages because I want to make sure that I'm able to show up for those clients. Share it with a friend, give me a like, leave a comment and tell me what your favorite part of the video. If you have something that's helping you break up with your phone or has helped you live your best life off of socials, let me know what it is. I'm not saying I'm not going to be on the socials. I'm just saying less. Less is more in this season. Yeah, less is more in this season. I'm about to go outside, get some sun, and enjoy this holiday. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Realize that I want to just utilize it differently. I have more than one page because I have my business page, I have my personal page. I really just want to be able to be purposeful about the things that I'm posting. I don't want everything to be so completely curated, because I hate when I can tell a page is like so curated that they probably just like programmed everything into preview and they haven't been here in I don't know how long. I also hate when you can never see somebody's personality on their page. Everything that they have is just business, 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 business. That's cool. I just don't personally enjoy those type of accounts. I want to know who you are. I want to be able to see your personality, your values, things like that. And so I thought that I was doing a pretty good job of that, but also I think it could be a little better. So pulling away from it helped me to just kind of like file it in my brain as to how I want to utilize it and the level of importance it should have. Also, anything that I am like irritated by, whether it's a message from somebody or something that somebody posts, I'm just not engaging with things that irritate me anymore. So I have received some messages from some people that I have not been responding to. They've been having full on conversations in my DM by themselves. I'm not entertaining it. I don't have the capacity for that. Um, yeah, I just don't. If it's not aligned with where I am in my life right now, I'm just not giving it. I'm not giving it anything. I don't want no drama. I don't want to smoke. It's not beef. I just don't care. I just don't care. It's not making me happy. It's not making me money. I just no thank you. Okay? I'm just not paying attention to it. I just really want to make sure that like everything in my life right now is purposeful but also fun. You know what I mean? Everything should be purposeful. Everything should have some kind of fun in it. Even the stuff that I don't like to do, I'm trying to figure out ways to do it with a little fun. You know, maybe if I got a budget and I need to write down all of my expenses and everything, can I at least have it on a cute piece of paper? You know? I'm just trying to figure out how to make everything make sense, but also have everything just not be so serious because I feel like there's an element of fun that just gets lost in adulthood, and spending the time that I just spent with all of those kids just reminded me that even though some of them were tired, some of them were grumpy, some of them were like, oh my gosh, this is a long day, or I'm tired of this girl that's in my room, or I'm tired of this guy that I gotta sit next to in the car because he's man spreading, it's a small back seat. They still found things to make it fun. And I think that as adults, we just really forget the value in that. So, as I am focusing on trying to break up with my phone, I've been doing some things that I think maybe may help other people who are also trying to break up with not only just their phones, maybe you spend a lot of time just connected to the outside world and you need to be able to kind of bring it in. Um, I, like I said, I kind of am the cool mom, if you will. A lot of my daughter's friends know me. We talk about things. I don't try to overstep as far as where their parents are concerned, but I remember when she was younger, I was okay being the mom who was the chauffeur. I think there's some value in spending a day with your kid and their friends. Maybe you're just the chauffeur for that day, but hear what they're talking about. Hear how they interact with each other. See what they do if you let them go to the mall and they run around, but you're still there and you cross paths a couple of times. There's value in spending time and knowing who is influencing your kids and who your kids are influencing as well. Um, just be present. You know, when you're with your kids, just be present. Maybe you have older kids who forgot about little fun things. Like my daughter and I will go to the park and we paint little things. Sometimes you just need just an activity to do. Um, and so maybe it's not you have kids and you're looking for something to do with your kids to help you unplug. Maybe it's just yourself. Take yourself to the park or just buy the supplies. I, during the pandemic, was buying resin and I was making coasters and perfume trays and dominoes, and I encapsulated flowers in a table. I was making all kind of stuff. Some of the things I sold, some of the things I kept. I just bought some more resin to make some picture frames and uh, tic-tac-toe board. Why? I don't know. But it was fun when I was doing it, and I'm going to do it again. I want to be able to find things to do that doesn't have to be on the phone. Another thing that I'm doing is at the end of my day, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb at like 9 o'clock. I read a book before I go to bed. When I'm binging a show, because I love a good show, I only watch a couple episodes. I'm not going to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning trying to watch the whole season. I'm just going to watch a couple episodes and then go to bed. Maybe I get my yoga mat out and I put it next to the bed and I stretch and I put on some music, and that's what I'm doing at the end of my day. Maybe that's how I start my day, as opposed to rolling over, grabbing my phone and starting my day seeing what's posted on whoever site about what's going on with whatever. I also really don't watch the news a lot. It stresses me out. I go to the news outlet. I see what's going on, and I check it once a day. I can't be bothered. I can't be asked. Y'all know it's a lot of weird things going on right now. I'm not dealing with an irritant. If it's something that I cannot control or there's something I can't do about it, I need to know how it's going to affect me, and then I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to focus on what I got to focus on and what is in my purview to take care of. And so I hope that you found some value in this video while I'm getting walked on by this cat who can't leave me alone. And just, food for thought, how to not forget to enrich your life outside of the phone, how to take some tidbits of lesson from your kid, your teenager, your younger child. Honestly, the younger kids, they are fearless. They just be out here living their best life. They're not worried about how anybody else thinks about them. If they got two wrong shoes on and they have a bridal gown and a baseball cap, they don't care. They're just living their best life, and if they like it, I love it. And I think maybe some of us as adults need to take some of that confidence and bring it back from our 5-year-old self and put it right back here into our 35-year-old self. That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for listening. If you found value in this, please share it with a friend, give me a like, leave a comment, and tell me what your favorite part of the video. If you have something that's helping you break up with your phone or has helped you live your best life off of socials, let me know what it is. I'm not saying I'm not going to be on the socials. I'm just saying less. Less is more in this season. Yeah, less is more in this season. I'm about to go outside, get some sun, and I will see you guys in my next video.